Welcome to the DigitalituM Podcast at the intersection of manufacturing and digital transformation. My guest today is Jordan Dieterle, pronounced in German, or Jordan Dieterle. I think that was not that great, but you say it yourself. He's the service account manager at R&E Automated in Greenville, South Carolina. And I'm happy to have you finally on my podcast. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you, Marcus. Thanks for having me.
Let's jump right into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself, a bit about your career, and how did you get there where you are right now?
Yeah. So I started as an electrician way back when here, say like 2011. I worked my way up in the electrical field. I did that for about 9 years. And then I went to, a couple manufacturing plants to where I'm like, hey, I need to learn robotics and controls and automation. It turned into, hey, it's a R&E. I was presented an opportunity with R&E. I took it and ran with it and then just kind of excelled within R&E. I started as a controls technician with them, went to a controls engineer, and then I became a lead controls engineer and turned into the service account manager for the sales side of R&E for down south. And I'm from Michigan, ended up down south in South Carolina. I was placed on a job through R&E for about 5 years, leading a team at a customer that we had, and it just kind of grew and grew. And I just kind of been building ever since, and trying to grow the southeast for R&E since I've taken the account manager job now for about 1.5 years. So that's kind of the backstory here and short story.
Sounds like a great career, and I see there also an overlap to my career. I started as a mechatronic technician back in the days. Wiring, assembly, production lines, traveled around and made my way up, similar to you.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting when you're traveling around, right? To see all the things that, hey, where can I help? And yeah, I'm curious to say, how that all turned into, where you're at too, right? So it's interesting. It's interesting
when you get out into the world and visit the factories of the world in different geographical areas. It's just opening your mind and shows you what all is out there. And I think that's also the cool thing about that particular job, that in a lot of jobs you're kind of funneled down in what is your responsibility and what you need to do. When you're out in the field, your responsibilities kind of go wide open, and you do a lot of other things on top of what you actually need to do. Do you agree on that? And what are some the additional things you take care out in the field?
Yeah, I definitely agree. When you're out in the field, like for an R&E controls engineer, robotics engineer, or welding engineer, even a maintenance guy, we have like welders too. You could be doing a variety of things. We could be putting a machine together from scratch. We could be supporting. We could be doing research and development. I personally use to say products that you support, and it's interesting to walk through. We're helping companies try to solve their issues and problems any way possible, and basically you're there to work and support these companies long hours. Usually they're longer days, and sometimes it's, hey, even when you're not at work, you're still getting off and doing work, right? So that's just the life of a field service engineer. And when you're traveling to multiple companies, you're experiencing a whole bunch of different tasks, and they're assigning you more things than they typically would assign their own employees.
Yeah, that's one thing. On the other side, you're the face of your company to the clients, and they don't talk to you about the specific technical issues they have. They tell you everything around as well from your company and how they see you And the good things, and a lot of times you always get the direct customer feedback on things, which you then have to translate through your inner channels to the respective responsible people and departments. What are you guys doing at R&E Automated? What's your mission, and how do you guys help your clients?
So our mission at R&E is we want to help anybody become more automated in any process that they have, right? And we want to supply them with the labor shortage that is currently out there. We are there to, I guess, mitigate that risk when you don't have the right people there to do automation tasks, or you don't have the right people to, support your plant or your manufacturing process. So we supply controls engineers, robotics engineers, welding engineers, maintenance techs, electricians, welders, riggers, just as a time and material basis. And basically it's when you need support or extra set of hands, we come in to support those roles that you're trying to fill. And it could be short term, it could be long term. I mean, we have customers that, hey, we need 4 guys for 2 weeks, and we have customers that, hey, we need, a guy for a year. So we're always very open to that. And with doing that, we're giving the guys are always learning, and they're always going to new customers. So they're learning new things, how this customer did it compared to the other customer. And they see new technology, right? And they're always becoming, advanced in the new automation 4.0, new digital things, and new products that are being developed or new systems that are being developed. So it's always a lucrative thing to see when you're in the field. And that's what R&E is trying to, help with those labor shortages.
So you guys have a pool of specific professions in the industrial automation space, to say it in a little more general way, which you help out clients, which have needs in that area on a short and mid to long-term base.
Yes. Yep. Exactly.
That's great. And I like that point that your people are kind of traveling from site to site and actually use that lesson learned to apply with others. As I particularly see that challenge as well. When you're a long time at one place, in one company, in one factory, you kind of get a tunnel view in the things, and therefore if you see how are problems solved in different places, you can kind of use that know-how and connect the dots and kind of become a consultant in that. How do you see that?
Yeah. So we generally do become consultants. I mean, we're that consultant where it's like, hey, our guys could refer, products that the customer's never even known about. I mean, and then also implement it, right? I mean, we easily could implement a product that, like, hey, we really need to find this, I've been in scenarios where I'm like, man, I say, like, I can't find this issue. And I mean, if I would have even known about, DigitalituM, if I would have known about you at that time, I could have easily said, hey, we need to take this, take the CAD and put it into a 3D model to where we could look at it and see where is the pinch point here? Where are we having the problem? I mean, it took us weeks to figure it out, but I mean, it's still, I say, like, we did find it, but it's like, hey, where is it at? And it was on a bender, bending some tubes, and it was just, it was just, hey, what else can we do, right? And it just came down to us solving that problem. So yeah, we do get into that scenario where we're consultants, but we're also very hands-on, right? So we basically all of our guys are very hands-on, involved, and we usually, we're the ones that is also fixing it as well. Now, granted, to say doesn't mean that we can't, just be a consultant. I mean, we do get, those type of tasks or say jobs as well. But hey, a lot of our guys are, hey, I want to, fix it. So,
and that's a great thing. And with digitalization, you can do a lot of things. On the other hand, there is the challenge in manufacturing industry, as it's so segmented and so complex that you barely get an overview of what it's all out there, which is the reason for this podcast, to talk about solutions, use cases, problems which can be solved through everything under the umbrella of digitalization. You guys at R&E Automated, what are you guys do already different than, let's say, the industry standard by using certain tools under the umbrella of digitalization, either in immersive technology, IoT, connecting things, maybe even AI? Are you leveraging already some of these technologies?
Yeah, we do leverage those technologies periodically. We do have we have a couple different business segments within R&E that we use, that like the LOT, digital automation 4.0. We're using the AI, some here and there. We're really trying to focus on that growth. But what our mainly I say where we're using those technologies is, it can be customer dependent. Our guy could be, hey, we're working with this customer that is using digitalization manufacturing tools, that they're trying to implement a process that they just need to look further or in more detail, right? And internally, we're using those processes for our end-of-line testing. So we do a lot of end-of-line testing for the manufacturing side of, or the OEMs for bigger companies that we're working with. So we do a lot of that, and they say we kind of get involved in a little bit of everything, which is really good because, like I said, it's like, hey, you're going here, you're doing this job for this customer for a year, and then you're coming here and you're doing this job for a customer for 6 months, and then you're coming here and you're doing this job for a customer for 3 months, right? Well, now you can take all those processes and all those tools that you learn from each one and make it into one toolbox. So.
Talking about the different things you guys do at R&E Automated, what are the three focus areas of your company?
The three focus areas is time and material side, is say our service side. It is our end-of-line testing side, and then our product build side. So those are our three tiers of our business that we utilize. We have little less than 1 million square feet of manufacturing space where we do product build, and then we have a facility where we just do end-of-line testing and building the products for end-of-line testing. And then we have our service side. The service side is my bread and butter side, but I do get involved in the product build side where we're doing service parts for, our customers and basically being in production.
Are you guys in a role of a system integrator, kind of building machines and workstations, robot integration with the whole hardware, software, electric, and all of that?
No, we don't actually build our own systems. So we partner with a lot of other companies to do the systems, and they use our resources to help them do it. So bigger integrators are calling us to say, hey, we need an influx of 20 guys for this large project that we're going to install wherever, right? And they bring our guys in to basically support them for a short period or long period of time. And we just don't want to be an integrator fully. And we just prefer, hey, on the product build side, it's more of like building manufacturing parts, right? So we use our own internal service group to support our product build side. So we do the integration, but it's only internally for ourselves.
Give me an example for that.
Yeah. So basically, just say a customer is coming to us and their real estate and their floor, they want a new project. They want to gain, 100,000 square foot back from their floor. They're like looking to offload a system or older systems that are service parts that they're only running, 150 a week. They call us and we say, okay, yes, we'll take it. We take that off their floor and we take it and put it into our manufacturing floor. But we take a 6 robot cell, we'll make it a 1 robot cell, and we'll make it a flex cell where it can run multiple parts and do multiple things or we might even take that cell and say, hey, we can mix it with the current cell on our floor. And we do all that design, all that work up front before we even get the cell to coming to our factory. And then we're using our service side to basically develop that and put it into action, basically. It saves on cost, and overall it's very productive when you start getting they're happy because they're making a big move, like, hey, we're getting rid of this one that we're not really making a ton of money on, and they're getting a high production cell, the customer is. So they're like, and then they also don't have to manage the day-to-day of that service part.
So it's part of retrofitting, part of third-party manufacturing. That's how I understand it, which is a very unique business model. I haven't seen companies out there actually doing that. So you're definitely in a niche there.
Yeah, it's a pretty wild niche. It was kind of pushed onto R&E. Hey, we need you to help us and support us and try to do this. And hey, the ownership was, yeah, we'll take advantage of it. So,
what are typical industries you guys support? Industries and branches.
Yeah, so we support a variety of industries. We typically do automotive. It's about anywhere between 35 and 40% of our business.
Which is very strong in the Greenville area.
Yes, it is. So it's kind of, it used to be more. It used to be like 60, 65, but we've diversed quite a bit. So we also do like e-commerce. We work with, a lot of e-commerce side. We do medical, defense. We are in the roller coaster industry. We've helped some roller coaster companies, say amusement park industry, and we do some medical. So we're very diverse. I think we're actually getting into the lumber and wood manufacturing side. So that's an interesting part. I'm kind of excited on that one. So yeah, I mean it's basically anything that is has automation or even maintenance support, right? I mean we can support it and provide resources to help the end customer.
And on the industrial automation side, as I'm an industrial automation guy as well, there are all these different brands of PLC suppliers. Are you guys focusing on one, or do you guys offer the whole portfolio of what is out there? From the Allen Bradleys to the Siemens to the Beckhoffs to the Automation Direct and so on and so on.
Yeah, so we offer, a variety of, I guess, products that we support, right? It just depends on the individual, right? I mean, just in controls, we have about 120 guys, and their skill sets vary, and what they know, like I've stated it before, they might be on a project where they're like doing Allen Bradley here, and the next project might be Siemens, but they could be working with like 8 different guys, and it's like one guy might really know Siemens really well, 2 or 3 might not know it as great, but they're still supporting and they're learning and gaining, that knowledge with co-working, within our group of guys, right? Or even at the customer site, right? You're always continuously learning when you're on the job because you're there to work, you're there to learn as well, right? I mean, I always look at it, hey, if I'm learning, I'm doing my job. So that's kind of the way that I always look at, when I was a field service engineer. So.
Definitely. And what do you see as the current biggest challenge out there in the field in manufacturing?
So the challenge is like, there's labor shortages is definitely one. And then, the adjustment to new, I'm looking at it as like, hey, I say like there's new products that are coming and trying, like this automation 4.0, like everybody's kind of like slow to adapt to it right yet. I say, it's coming, but there's always new products coming. So I always look at it as like, sometimes they say they're, set in stone of how they want to do their product and it's an old way. And it's like, hey, there's this way that you could do it in half the time, right? And say, let's try this new product out and, make it work. So that's kind of the advantage of, where we see a lot of, things where we're like, hey, this, you could take advantage of this and we're not having any issues. But it's just trying to get them, the end customer to understand that sometimes they say new is always better. New can be better. So yeah, and with the labor shortage, I mean, that's what we're really looking to do. I mean, we're really looking to help the end customer fill those roles.
What are specific examples of things you guys do to, for example, solve the problem of labor shortage?
So basically, what we're doing when we're trying to solve that labor shortage is for instance, a plant is closing. And a customer calls us and says, hey, say this plant is closing. Well, typically when a plant closes, right, you run into the issue of instantly people start to go find new jobs. They still need to run a period of time. It could be 6 months, 8 months, a year. And as those people continuously leave, they're like, hey, we need to fill these roles so that we can continuously operate, because we still have end customers to provide products to. So we're there filling those roles. However many people they need, they could say, hey, we want to start with 5. Get them trained while the guys are here. And as guys start to leave or, find new jobs, they say we'll fill in more people. But we have like initial start of 5 people, right, to support us and learn our products and learn our systems. So we could be in that route. I mean, we could be in the route of there's, a customer, an integrator that needs a big influx of employees to support them in a big automation project that they're about to build for a customer, where they might only have, the key players in their organization for like, hey, we have like a lead controls guy, we have project managers, we have all of these type of guys to support, and then they're bringing in us to, do the physical work, right? I mean, it could be the same thing for like you. Hey, I say like an integrator brings you into, we want to show, the customer this digitalization of the system from our CAD drawing, and then they can walk through it and say, and you're there to support your customer, but they're showing their customer, hey, this is what it's going to look like in the end, right? So that's kind of, we're there to, basically to support them. So with the shortages.
And then in terms of digital tools or digital new things in the area of industrial automation, do you see a couple of brand new things, what you guys incorporating, just throwing a couple of words out? Have you worked with Vision AI or stuff like that to make things better, faster, more efficient?
Yeah, so we actually partnered with Apera, which is a vision company. They're helping out a customer of ours, and we've actually said, hey, we really like this product. The AI, with the involvement of AI with it, is really neat, and we want to learn more. And so we approached it as, hey, how can we support you guys in buying the products and then helping our customers install it? So we basically became a vendor with them, and as most integrators do. But yeah, we have customers that are asking for it, and they're like, hey, this is something that we can support and we can learn more about. So yeah, we see those digital tools to say that we're learning and growing with too, and our guys are getting the training on it in advance, because we want to stay ahead of the game. We're always trying to improve, and when they're going to a new customer that has products that they need to know beforehand, we'll send them to training before they even go, and then they at least have their tool belt that they've learned already, and they gained a new skill, and when they're there, they're going to learn a new skill, and we add it to our matrix to say, hey, they know this product, they know, Allen Bradley, they know Siemens, they know Beckhoff, they know Keyence, they know Fanuc, or, whatever it might be. And then we know that we can send them to the next customer when the next customer is requesting, hey, we're requesting a Omron guy or whatever, right? They say we can make it, lucrative for the customer because they have that experience.
You mentioned a good word topic, technical training. How, and technical training is always a good thing to provide, but it has also its challenges in how to integrate a good training and an efficient training program into an organization, specifically when people like in your organization are always somewhere. So tell me a little bit more of how you guys run your training operations, what type of training you do on remote versus in person, maybe a combination. Maybe you have a system like a learning management system, technology-wise. How do you guys do that? What's the magic without telling us the full magic?
Yeah. So we do a little bit of both, like a little bit of remote, a little bit of physically on-site training. We also are willing to, send our guys to like the manufacturer if needed for that training. So we have a site, or our training lab is here on site in Greenville, Duncan area in our manufacturing facility here, where we, have a variety of different, applications or products that we usually train people on when they come here for, say some training, or they even come here for a project that we have going on internally. We'll usually send them through, a short training period to say if it's like, hey, we need you to, learn up on FANUC, or, gain some knowledge on FANUC because this is why we're going to do this. And we'll put them through that training really quick, and then they're out on the floor learning it even more, right? That's typically what we're doing. I mean, there's always, say, opportunities with customers where like customers want to send our guys through the training that they will provide. So we do that. And we usually, when we're doing that, hey, it's a negotiation of, are they going to pay for the training, or are we going to pay for the training, or vice versa? Or sometimes they say they're just like, we'll pay for the training. We want them to know it. We want them to be experts for what we need. So it just varies. It all depends on, what the need is of our customers.
Of course. And at the end of the day, you have to make your client happy and provide the services they want, or solve one of their problems and issues. What do you see as current trends, and where does the whole manufacturing industry go on its journey with, on one side, the problems we have with skills gap, labor shortage, and then on the other hand, all these opportunities in digitalization with different technologies and so on. What is your kind of outlook?
My outlook on the industry or manufacturing industry is a lot of people are, when I went to college, it was, hey, say everybody needs to go get a 4-year degree, right? You have to have a 4-year degree to go get a job. I see it now that it's, hey, why don't you go to a trade school, go to robotics school, go to computer school, or like a computer certificate, or, anything that you can just learn a skill and get that automation or digitalization experience and be with technology that is currently advancing all the time, right? You can learn so much just by looking online and continuing, to gain knowledge, say, without even actually going to school. But I see the industry as a whole tailoring towards that more. I mean, obviously we'll still have the personnel that are going to go to engineering and, get the 4-year degree. But I think that the manufacturing space is opening up to that opportunity to try to employ more skilled labor, and even in, quality roles, like, or people that younger generations that understand, hey, everything is going to become digitalized, right? It's literally, say, everything is coming, becoming more automated, and it's going to continuously advance. Like, that's just human nature, right? We're always wanting to get better and build and make things more interesting and try to make it, so that, hey, if we don't have to do that repetitively all the time, and we can manage a software and, sit in a cubicle and watch it, and monitor it, we can do multiple things at one time and, become more productive. So I see it as that, and with that automation 4.0 coming about, I think we'll continuously see more advancements and people really trying to go to that trade school side.
Yeah, and I actually agree with you on that. Coming from Germany and doing my first professional education in the German system, the apprenticeship system, which in my point of view is the way to go, as you have this mix of theoretical and practical on-the-job learning in a, for example, 3.5-year duration to be then a professional for a specific profession. In my example, it was mechatronic, to then work in your field. But I think the missing point in the American system, or where a future development could be done, is there has to be a path of further education as well, so that you actually you start with something, you work in your field, you get experience, and then there needs to be another degree, further education, to kind of get you on the same level as if you go the traditional way. And in Germany, for example, we have that way with apprenticeship. You work on the job, and then you go on a so-called Fachschule für Technik or a Meisterschule, and then you're kind of equivalent to somebody who came straight from the engineering school and got their bachelor degree. And the advantage of these guys is they have already the work experience. They know what to do, and they can jump right into it, and they have the craftsman's capabilities and the knowledge of everything, how it goes. And I think that's important in a world which is getting more and more complex. You still need to do things or be able to do things with your hand, in my point of view. How do you see that?
Yeah. I mean, the more you can do, with your hands and know the theory, it's just going to benefit, you as an individual. It'll benefit, your company, and it just helps you overall because you've been there, you've physically done it. I think like in Germany, you have to say you go through and you do your apprenticeship for 2 or 4 years, and then you can go on to college. Yeah, no, that's good. They say, and I think that's very lucrative for companies, because you're learning something, and and the funny thing is you can take that, you learn a trade, you can take that and utilize it at home, right? It's instead of hiring out somebody else, you could do it at home even, right? So it's kind of, a reward. I'm all for it. I mean, I did not go get a bachelor's degree. I just said, I'm going to go to work, and I'm going to work hard and build and, try to, learn as much as I can, right? That was my whole goal. I didn't want to, stay in college. I was I'm ready to go to work. I want to learn, right? So that was the advantage, and I just took it and learned as much as I could, and I was open to hearing what people wanted to show me or teach me, and it was just, that was the way that I thought that I would be successful.
Yeah, and I applaud you for going that way, and also not feeling kind of on a lower level to peers in the industry, which have a fancy engineering degree from a fancy university.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, and I'm always for it. I'm hey, if you can show me something, I'll do what you're asking. It's not a big deal. I'm always open to, hey, if you have a better idea, let's try it. If we can figure it out together, it doesn't matter that you have a degree or I have a degree. At the end of the day, if we're collaborating and we're making it work, at the end of the day, we're doing an awesome job, and our customer's happy, and hey, we learned something. I say, all right, now we finished it. Hey, at the end of the day, let's go out and, let's grab a beer, grab dinner, and, go back for the next day, right? So. And
I think these are the perfect closing words for this episode of the DigitalituM Podcast, at the intersection of manufacturing and digital transformation. Thanks, Jordan, for joining us for this episode.
Thank you.